This is Paul. Paul has a good life. He is young. He has a loving family, nice home, decent car, and a stable job. Everybody wants to know him and do business with him. The Identity Ecosystem Model, developed at the Center for Identity at the University of Texas at Austin, describes personal identifying information, or PII attributes, that are typically used to identify a person like Paul. Here are the types of attributes used to identify Paul. And since all this information does not exist in isolation, see the relationships between the attributes. Connecting the dots between the attributes can reveal much more about Paul. Paul does not manage or protect his PII attributes. Paul does not care who reads his tweets, Facebook posts, or sends him junk mail. He is busy enjoying the time of his life. One day, Paul is offered an attractive discount at a local store for becoming a member. He must provide some personal information, but he goes to the store often, and he thinks the savings are worth it. So, Paul signs up. The same information Paul shares with the local store, he also shared with his bank, his mortgage company, and his internet service provider. Also, Paul did not read the fine print, and now some of his information can be sold to third-party marketing firms. His inherent risk of fraud has gone up by giving out his personal data. Paul's behavior and his retailers' actions have created lots of copies of the PII data he released, along with all the PII attributes connected to his data. Is the discount worth the risk? Paul trusts that his store will not misuse his information. However, Paul receives a letter from the store that their computers were hacked and some personal information might have been stolen, including his email ID and customer loyalty card. Paul does not pay much attention, but he used the same password for customer loyalty that he uses for his email, and his email account has been hacked. Luckily for Paul, the email company has noticed that his account is being accessed from a flagged IP address and informed him of the likely breach. Paul is concerned, what else can be at risk? The UT Center for Identity Ecosystem Model can determine that his risk of exposure has gone up. For example, the model predicts that his credit card and debit card information is now at a much higher risk. Paul is wondering how he could have protected himself from this breach. The Center for Identity Ecosystem Model can tell that he should have paid more attention to the breach letter that he received from the store. What are the most urgent actions required of Paul now? The Identity Ecosystem Model can show him the hotspots. Armed with a better understanding of PII risks and value, Paul can better understand how to manage his identity assets and what actions to take to better protect his identity.